sweetie pie.
Hi there. This is Bianca Bashak, and I interview happy couples and share their true love stories on my website, crazylovestories.com. But there's always so much more that goes on behind the scenes before you find that special relationship, the one that you know is different from the rest. And this is what I discuss with you here, the actual journeys that people go through, both happy and sad, on their quest for love. Today, I want to ask you, how do you know it when your wish comes true? Well, you'd have to know what your wish is first, so when it happens, you know it, right? So, the first step to having your wish come true is to actually have a wish. Now, for all of you out there that are going, duh, right now, it hurts my heart to say this, but there are way too many people who don't know what their wish is, simply because they don't dare to have one anymore. A broken heart sure has a way of shooing away so much of your hope. But who can deny that your body is a great guide for you to follow? When you're tired, it puts you to sleep. When you're hungry, it urges you to eat. And if you're ever to fall, it makes sure you get right back up and keep going. So, for all of you that might have taken a step back from dreaming and still have not gotten up after a fall, as well as to all of you fellow dreamers out there, here's a little inspiration from true stories of people who have managed to find love simply by daring to have a wish, then writing it down. Today's story is called Your Pen is Your Magic Wand, so write it down and make it happen. As a writer of true love stories, it's always thrilling to witness the magic of people being able to manifest their dreams, especially when it comes to love. The proof is always in the pudding, as I was so happily reminded when I got that phone call from my best friend Anita. You'll never believe what happened, she said. I was in the car wash, which was already unbelievable, as she hardly ever gets her car washed professionally. Anyway, she continued. And I came across this notebook I didn't know I had. I opened it and started reading it. She went on. I'd been writing about David. How wonderful, affectionate, and loving he is. How insanely in love we are. How he accepts me just as I am. How amazing life is. I was outlining our life. How we hike together, we do yoga together, we do everything together. And how he gets along so well with my son. It was early in the morning and I was still half asleep after a late night, she said. So I couldn't figure out why in the world I would be writing all of this down in a notebook that I tossed into the back of my car out of all places and not in a message or an email. Then it hit me. This was the wish list of my ideal man. I'd written it months before I even met David. Yeah, that's what she said. Anita had been divorced for 6 years at that point. Her relationships prior and post divorce had led her to believe that love was an impossible dream. She felt it only happened to other people, and even those people were probably embellishing as they boasted about how wonderful it was. She doubted their happy posts on social media reflected the full truth. But that one night, inspired by a book that she was reading about calling the perfect partner into your life, she had taken a glass of wine, pen and paper, and had written it down. Her ideal man in her ideal life. In line with current teachings and the insanely popular law of attraction, she'd been writing it as if it had already happened. Shortly after that, she had met her soulmate David. He fit what she had written down to a T. I'd heard about the power of manifesting your dreams by simply writing them out years ago. It seemed to send a direct message to the universe, and the magical forces of life would then make those dreams turn into reality when the time, as well as the state of your soul, was right. It definitely set the wheels in motion. The first time I heard of the concept was many years ago when I had first watched The Secret. I was still mystified by this DIY manifestation miracle called the Law of Attraction when I met a delightful woman called Caroline a few days later. Still living in a world that required it, I was in a business suit and high heels, and she was a client of mine. She was one of those people who had that magical, magnetic energy, and you just wanted to hug her and bathe in it. I've been asking people the story behind their love for as long as I can remember, and it was clear from the get go that Caroline and I had connected in an I feel I already know you kind of way. So I didn't hesitate to ask her how she'd met her husband Alan. This is what had happened. They were living in the same city and were dating for a while, but she had a dream that would split them up. She wanted to travel. They separated and she left. It took her a few years to return from her journeys, but she did. Meanwhile, somewhere along her journeying, she'd been told to make her ideal partner wish list by writing out his qualities on a piece of paper, putting it away, and not looking at it again. When she returned, she reconnected with Alan, who happened to still be in town, and soon they were back in an intimate relationship. It was then that she came across that piece of paper, which was neatly folded up and tucked away somewhere, her handwritten wish list that she'd dutifully forgotten about. On opening it, although she had written it with no one in particular in mind, she saw that, just like Anita, she had described Alan perfectly. These are only two examples of the magic that words can create, and they're not the only ones that I have come across during my interviews with couples who are in love. A lot is always said about being very clear within yourself about your desires if you really want them to come true, and there is no better way to clear your vision than by sitting alone in candlelight on a quiet evening, all devices turned off, a small smile on your lips, and a pen in one hand, ready to write out your letter to the universe. So, ladies and gentlemen, dream your dreams, make your wishes, and write them down. There seems to be a magical eye in the sky that's watching, magic wand in hand. The happy end. I have not changed any names for this particular story, and if Anita and David's love story interests you, you can find it on my website, crazylovestories.com, along with their beautiful photos. I hope you enjoyed listening to today's Adventures in Love. Please do subscribe to my website, Crazy Love Stories, or the podcast, or on social media to always listen to more true love stories. The links are around here everywhere. I hope you hear from me again, as in, I hope you subscribe.